And after you did that, you did mention briefly that you became a teacher at your modeling school. I'm guessing this is in between the time that you did your title reign and before you competed again in Miss USA. So, what did that kind of help bring out of you being a teacher now to people that were in your position just a few years ago and now they see all the success and all of the great things that you've done? What was that experience like paying it forward and being a teacher?
It was awesome. I loved it. Somebody once told me we teach the things we need to learn the most. And so when you're teaching something, yes, your students are absolutely getting something out of it, but it's just becoming further ingrained in your brain. And it's almost like forcing you to practice what you preach. So being able to teach so many of these things and teach confidence and teach these kids how to embrace themselves and be comfortable and confident in who they are, that message was just being relayed in my head again and again and again. And it helped me grow throughout my time as a teacher.
And I will say, when I hear you speak and, do all of these other things, that you do have this confidence in you, and it makes everyone want to listen and it keeps people engaged. And I also give you a lot of credit because for anybody, I think, regardless of your age, if you were doing all of these public speaking events and talking to groups and communities when you were in high school or soon after you graduated, that is for everybody, that's one of the most terrifying things, to speak in front of all of these groups. And if you were doing this very frequently, I think that has helped your confidence too, in a way, because you were put in these situations where, you get to share your messages and you help to develop that confidence the more that you do them. Is there anything that you want to say about public speaking, since that's how we kind of know each other? But was this always something natural for you?
I always liked it. I remember taking, I think it was speech in high school, where we just gave speeches, and I liked it. I liked being up there and talking and having different things to say. But I will agree, I think starting young is a huge advantage because you're almost starting to conquer fear before you even know that it's a fear, before you know there's a reason to be afraid. Because I think the fear of public speaking is actually more common than the fear of death. So when people say they would rather die than give a public speech, they're not kidding. They really would rather die than give a public speech. So yeah, sometimes with kids, and that's the same thing, teaching confidence exercises to kids, they're so young, they don't realize there's a reason to be afraid or to be shy or embarrassed. So you're helping them get over something before it's even developed.
That's very interesting perspective. I never thought about it like that. But that is so true. When you start young and it's just something that you're comfortable with, or something that you just see as like, oh, this is what I do, then yeah, you don't develop that fear. And then you actually, can carry out whatever it is that you're doing without realizing like, oh yeah, that's a big deal. But I would agree, because that's one thing we hear commonly, right? Is that public speaking is probably one of the greatest fears for the general population. And I can honestly say, like 2-3 years ago, that was me. I was like, I'm never going to speak in front of anybody more than a handful of people, But with all of these experiences, it's something that with practice, when you're put in these situations, you definitely overcome it. And eventually it becomes kind of like just a normal thing that you are put in this situation to do. So that's really interesting to hear kind of your story and how that confidence has helped you to overcome many of these things that I think a lot of us do fear.